And that brings us back to the sands of West Texas and the mysterious death of Jesus Galindo, the epileptic who died in solitary. His parents, Jesus and Graciela, and younger brother David, are legal residents.
This used to be my brother's car when he used to take it to work.
His father's a farmer. Graciela is a homemaker. They live just outside El Paso, Texas. The saga of their son has consumed their lives.
Cantando con sus amigos.
Jesus Jr. was their eldest son.
My cousins and him.
His family called him Chewy. He was the father of 4 children. His parents say that after coming from Mexico, he worked hard in this country for 20 years, from the meatpacking plants of Nebraska to the oil fields of Texas.
Pues para mí fue un hijo muy bueno, muy bonito. Él tenía muy bonito carácter. Tenía un corazón muy grande para toda la gente. A él le gustaba ayudar.
One day, while out shopping, he suffered an epileptic seizure. The police were called. They discovered he was illegal, and he was soon sentenced to detention, ending up in Reeves County. Jesus spent more than a year at the detention center, and he sent regular letters to his family in which he wrote that his pleas for medical attention were falling on deaf ears. This one was written from solitary the day before he died. Quote, I told them that I've already been in here alone for a month and that I'm getting sick. They tell me, yes, but they haven't done anything. I ask that they put me with someone so that I'm not alone. But the days pass, Mom, and nothing. His mother was concerned about him and called the facility to check in. That's how she learned her eldest son had died.
Ni siquiera tuvo la amabilidad de preguntarme quién está con usted para darme la noticia, ¿verdad? Señora Galindo, lo sentimos, no se pudo hacer nada por Jesús. Oiga, ¿cómo cree que me sentía yo en esos momentos? Yo sentía que se hundía el piso conmigo. Yo corría allá afuera, para allá y para acá y gritaba, y no puede ser. No quiero que algo le pase a mi hijo allí, no quiero que ustedes van a ser responsables. Y una vecina de allá me oyó que andaba yo a grite y grite con el teléfono y corrió. Y ya ella como pudo se comunicó con él y luego con mi hija y luego con él.
He died there, his father says, because medical care was not only inadequate, but inept. And the Galindo family believes placing their son in isolation was medical neglect.
Una persona que está enferma no puede estar separado de la más gente que le puede dar auxilio con la enfermedad que tenía mi hijo. ¿Por qué me lo tenían aparte? ¿Por qué me lo tenían aparte, encerrado en una celda de castigo? Pues si él no era un criminal.
At the vigil commemorating Jesus Galindo's death were a couple of family members of detainees currently being held at Reeves.
My brother was telling me that there's a lot of men that are committing suicide because of the way they treat them and the abuses and everything. And
Maria Renaga says her brother is being held on a drug conviction. He told her he's experienced the bad medical care firsthand.
Well, right now he suffers from gastritis, but it's a very bad ulcer that he has. He's had it since he's been in jail because of the foods and everything. He doesn't get any medicine. He went and asked for medicine that's more than a month ago, and still he hasn't gotten it. So he says it's very uncomfortable to be with the pain every day.
Renaga also said that she's heard that sick patients are sent to isolation cells. Jesus Galindo died in isolation, and it's an allegation that Lisa Graybill has heard often. Graybill prosecuted prison abuse cases at the Department of Justice for years. She's now the Texas ACLU's point person investigating medical care complaints at Reeves.
And that, we believe, is part of why folks have died here, because they've been denied adequate care, then removed from the general population where at least their fellow inmates can watch out for them, placed in isolation where they told us, which is a single cell, where they told us the buzzers don't work, you can't get anybody to send you to bang on the door and bang on the door and bang on the door to get a guard to walk by. So you can see how easy it would be for an inmate like Jesus Galindo, who was epileptic, had a seizure, and died on the floor by himself in solitary.
According to the ACLU, at least 9 people have died at the Reeves private prison alone. And while it's not unusual for inmates to die behind bars without access to their prison files, what led to their deaths remains untold.
Given the number of people that have died here, they're very afraid. I would say that that's something that's unique in this facility among the many prison and jail facilities I've visited. These guys are terrified that they're going to die in here.
Before Galindo's death, nobody really paid any attention to this place that's many miles from the nearest big city. But only hours after Galindo's body was found, the Reeves Detention Center suddenly made headlines.
The Reeves County Sheriff's Office says the riot started about 5 o'clock Saturday, and inmates have completely destroyed one section of the detention center.
Over the course of the next 6 weeks, 2 riots rocked Reeves. Inmates with smuggled cell phones called the local media to protest what they said was poor medical care.
There was 3 inmates sick, and instead of them taking care of them, they put them in the hole. And they just had them with medication, they were just putting them to sleep.
The second riot ended with 2 buildings on fire and an estimated $40 million in damage. The GO Group refused our request for information or comment on the riots and the death of Jesus Galindo. Instead, they offered us a media statement that reads, quote, GO is proud of its track record of more than 20 years as a high-quality correctional and detention management services provider. No large-scale correctional or detention provider in the United States is immune to operational challenges that include disturbances and deaths in custody, unquote.
Rioting is actually quite rare at prisons. It takes a lot, really, to provoke inmates into that kind of action. And this is a nonviolent population. Most of the people, all the people to my knowledge that are in here are here for nonviolent crimes.
And they're asking for better medical care. That's it. Okay? That's it. I mean, just the fundamentals of what any of us should expect for somebody that's incarcerated.
Mike Torres is an El Paso attorney who, with another lawyer, has been hired by the Galindo family to help them find answers. And because lawyers, unlike reporters, have the power to subpoena documents and take depositions, cases like the one of Jesus Galindo may finally shed light on what's going on in places like Reeves. Even so, Torres says he's having a hard time pinning down where the ultimate responsibility lies when it comes to private prisons.
There's a lot to tell about them, but one issue that I see is that they kind of exist in this netherworld of, nobody's really sure who has oversight over them.